Hello and welcome to the Championship preview and predictions. Okay, so today we'll be doing the preview of Friday and Saturday's games, and it is going to be a very, very interesting week indeed. Some really, really good results for some clubs and some really bad results in the midweek for some clubs. But let's get straight into it with Middlesbrough and West Brom. So Middlesbrough and West Brom, they play Friday night. And now, I wondered why the teams were playing on the first Tuesday of the season. And clearly it was because these two were playing each other on the Friday. So they couldn't play Wednesday or Tuesday, Friday. So that's why. So I finally answered that question. But Middlesbrough are in great form so far this season. 3 wins and 1 draw. They currently sit second in the table, a goal behind Leeds. On opening day they drew 2-2 with Millwall, and since then they've had a 3-0 win against Sheffield United, a 1-0 win versus Birmingham, and in the Cup they beat Notts County on penalties, and a 2-0 victory on Saturday versus Bristol City. West Brom, they have also been in terrific form. After an opening day defeat to Bolton, they drew 1-1 with Notts Forest on that first midweek. Since then, they've had 3 wins from 3. A 4-3 win against Norwich City, followed by a 1-0 win against Luton in the Carabao Cup. And then most recently, they beat QPR 7-1. So both teams going into really, really good form. Both teams have won their last 3 games. I'm really, really interested to see this. I'm looking forward to it. I'll definitely give it a watch. Tony Pulis going back to his former employers in West Brom, or facing them rather. It is Middlesbrough are at home. I think Middlesbrough will get the win here, maybe by the odd goal. I'm not expecting too many goals, but both of them are in decent form. West Brom are currently in 7th, and Middlesbrough are in 2nd place. Next, we go to the 3 o'clock games, and first off we have Aston Villa and Reading. Aston Villa picked up a decent point in the end against Brentford, being 2-1 down right at the death when Jonathan Kodjia scored a late equaliser. Reading, they drew 2-2 with Blackburn after being 2-0 up. 2 penalties from Charlie Mulgrew gave Reading a point. So Reading have been really, really struggling. No wins in their opening 4 games, just a 1 win in the Carabao Cup, 2-0 victory over Birmingham. Aston Villa, they have been in good form. They are currently unbeaten. They have had 2 wins, 2 draws, 0 defeats, and have also won in the League Cup 1-0 against Yeovil. Those wins came against Hull and Wigan, and then since then they had a 1-1 draw with Ipswich and a 2-2 draw with Brentford. So yeah, it was a good start. 2 wins out of 2 for Aston Villa, but since then 2 draws, 1 against Ipswich who were down to 10 men, and late goal from Kodjia against Brentford to seal a draw. Good point for Reading on the road at Blackburn. However, I will go for a Aston Villa win here. I think that they'll have enough to beat Reading. Next, we go to Blackburn and Brentford, the teams that faced Aston Villa and Reading last night. So Blackburn, they have had a decent start to the season. They have had 3 draws and 1 win. Those draws come against Ipswich, Millwall and Reading. Their only win came against Hull. They also hammered Carlisle 5-1 in the Carabao Cup. Brentford, they started the season with that amazing 5-1 win against Rotherham. Since then, they drew with Stoke, beat Southend in the Carabao Cup, and beat Sheffield Wednesday 2-0, and then that draw, obviously, with Aston Villa. I'm going to go for a win for Brentford. I think they'll have enough to overcome Tony Mowbray's Blackburn. Next, we go to Bolton, who have been the surprise package so far. Currently sit on 10 points for the season. A really, really good start for Bolton. They've had 3 wins so far. Those wins have come against West Brom, Reading and Birmingham. And their only defeat was away at Leeds in the Carabao Cup, and their draw came against Bristol City. Sheffield United, they had a difficult start to life in this season, losing to Swansea and Middlesbrough. before a win against QPR, who have been terrible, and then on the Saturday they beat Norwich 2-1. So they have picked up 2 wins and 2 defeats so far. I'm going to go for a draw here, 1-1, 2-2. I think there'll be goals. I think it will be a tight draw. Derby versus Preston next. 2 sides that I thought would have really, really good seasons this year. Derby, their form's been iffy. 2 wins, 2 draws. 2 wins, 2 defeats. Defeats coming against Leeds and Millwall. Victories against Ipswich and Reading. Both sides are currently without a win. Preston, they beat QPR on the opening day, lost to Swansea 1-0, drew with Stoke 2 apiece, and lost to Norwich 2-0. I think it was yesterday. I'm going to go for a Derby win. I think that they're better than Preston, and I think that that's why they'll get the win, especially at home. I'm going to go for a 2-0 win to Derby there. Norwich versus Leeds, and a fantastic start to life in England for Marcelo Bielsa. Currently, after his 5 games, including the cup games, 4 wins, 1 draw. Draw against Swansea, who are also having a great start to the season under Graham Potter. Norwich, not so well. They finally got their first win of the season. That was last night, a 2-0 victory over Preston. They've had a draw with Birmingham on the opening day, and then 2 defeats to Sheffield United and West Brom. I'm going to go for a Leeds win, 2-0 against Norwich. I just think that they'll have too much for Norwich. QPR versus Wigan. QPR have had a terrible start to the season. A 1-0 defeat against Preston on the opening day, followed by another defeat on the second game of the season against Sheffield United 2-1. And then last Saturday, that 7-1 hammer into QPR to West Brom, and then that 3-0 defeat to Bristol City. Wigan, they had a great win last night against Stoke 3-0. Since before then, they've had a 2-2 draw with Nottingham Forest, which is a decent point, and then beat Sheffield Wednesday on the opening day 3-2. I'm going to go for I think I'm going to go for a win. I'm going to go 1-0 QPR. I think they might pick something up after that terrible start. But if they do lose, Steve McLaren could be on the sacking board already, because 5 defeats in a row is not what they would have wanted. Sheffield Wednesday entertained Ipswich. Sheffield Wednesday picked up their first win of the season in the league, a 2-1 victory over Millwall last night, which has put their problems at ease just for now after 2 defeats and 1 draw. The defeats coming against Wigan and Brentford, and then the draw coming against Hull. Ipswich, they've had a terrible start to the season. 2-2 draw with Blackburn, a defeat to Rotherham, a defeat to Derby, and then that 1-1 draw with Aston Villa. It's not been what they wanted. Hopefully they can turn it round, but I think Sheffield Wednesday will get another 3 points, which will be a really good 3 points, just to move away from the relegation zone and then start building on that. Next we travel to Stoke and Hull. Stoke are under a little bit of pressure, after their start. So they are currently without a win. They lost on the opening day to Leeds 3-1. Since then they've had draws with Preston and Brentford, and then got hammered by Wigan last night, so he is winless. Hull City, it's not been the start that they would have wanted either. 2 defeats, 1 draw, but did pick up a win on Tuesday night against Rotherham. 3-2 that finished. I'm going to go for a Stoke win. I think they'll finally get their first win of the season against Hull. Next we have Swansea versus Bristol City. This is the last 3 o'clock game. This could be a really, really good game. I expect a decent tie here. Swansea have had a really good start to the season. Bristol City, they've been okay. 2 draws, 1 win, 2 defeats. Obviously, one of those defeats came in the League Cup. So 1 defeat, 2 draws, and a win. Obviously, that great win against QPR. And then the draws came against Bolton and Nottingham Forest. So it's been okay, I guess. The only defeat coming against Middlesbrough. Swansea, they have 2 wins, 2 draws. I'm going to go for a Swansea win here. I am going to go 2-1 to the Swans. Finally, thank you so much for watching until the end. We have Nottingham Forest and Birmingham. So Nottingham Forest, they have had draws galore. They've had 3 draws, a draw in the Carabao Cup victory on penalties, and then just that one win. So draws against Wigan, Birmingham, and Bristol City, and West Brom. The only win coming against Reading. Birmingham are winless, including the Carabao Cup. 3 defeats, 2 draws. It's not been what the start the Gary Monk would have wanted. I think Forest will get their second win of the season. I'll go 1-0 to Forest. So that is all of the games. I don't think there's a game on Sunday. Oh yes, there is. Sorry, Rotherham and Millwall. So Rotherham, they had a bad defeat last night to Hull. That was 3-2. They lost on Saturday to Leeds 2-0. They won in the Carabao Cup 3-1 against Wigan. They won against Ipswich and got hammered on the opening day against Brentford. Millwall, they lost last night to Sheffield Wednesday. That was their first defeat of the season. They've had 2 draws and a win. I think Millwall will get the win here. I'm going to go 2-1 for Millwall. And that is all of the games. And then we have the Carabao Cup midweek. Lots of great ties. I'm looking forward to Wimbledon versus West Brom. But there will be a lot of great ties there. So that is the preview for tomorrow and Saturday, and then the game on Sunday as well. Thank you so much for tuning in. Really appreciate it. I hope you enjoyed the video. Smash the subscribe button if you are new. Thank you so much for watching. My name is Mike, and I will see you soon.